What is going on, football fans? Back at it with another New York Giants video. And the New York Giants, of course, are on bye this week. Next week, they will take on the Chicago Bears. But one of the things that we read after that loss to the New York Jets was that there was going to be some shakeup with the starting lineups, with the locker room, possibly with the coaching staff down the line. We'll have to wait and see what happens in the offseason. But, of course, when you get off to a 2-8 start, some guys are going to lose their jobs, right? There's going to be shakeup, and what appears to finally be happening, something that a lot of Giants fans have been calling for weeks, is that Julian Love will break in the lineup for the veteran Antoine Bethea, who has certainly struggled at that safety position for the Giants. He just hasn't gotten it done. And it's just time to see the youngsters play. Hopefully we get to see a little bit more to Sam Beal. Julian Love will, it appears, get to play that safety position. He's been getting most of the first-team reps from everything that you've read in practice this week for the Giants, and it is only fitting that Love makes his debut start against the Chicago Bears. After all, he grew up in Chicago, and he played for Notre Dame. So, we'll have to wait and see how he does, but it's exciting to hear about Julian Love, a guy that we were all really looking forward to. Now, Julian Love in college was a very good player, and most people had him projected as a second-round pick. So, when we got him in the fourth, people were thrilled. They thought it was a steal of a pick, and we've yet to see him on the football field. So we'll get to get a good read on Gettleman's pick here this week. And from what we read, even though he played exclusively corner for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, he was going to be a jack-of-all-trades type player. And in training camp, he was actually competing to start at the slot corner spot, a spot he was beat out for. But we also, of course, read that he could play that safety spot, which appears to be where he will be playing. Now, he's a little undersized at 5'11", 195 pounds, much like a lot of the corners we have on our roster, but hopefully he gets to continue to play, and we see what we have going into next year in the secondary based off these last 6 games. Of course, we have a very young secondary with guys like Corey Ballantyne, of course, Sam Beal, DeAndre Baker, who has continued to struggle, Peppers. So hopefully we see what we got, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what Love could bring us in the secondary on Sunday next week against the Chicago Bears. But let's take a look at some of the strengths and some of the weaknesses of Julian Love, according to the scouting report going into the NFL draft. These were his strengths. They said he was highly instinctive and quick to process and respond. He posted 32 pass breakups and 4 interceptions over the last 2 years at Notre Dame. As I think I said, he was a finalist for the Thorpe Award, which goes to the best player in the secondary. Low, smooth backpedal and unwilling to panic and open early. Inspiring ability to mirror and match with quick, quiet feet. Anticipates routes and runs them for the wideout. Consistent level of coverage in zone or man, which is good to hear. Obviously, we've seen DeAndre Baker struggled in the zone. Never far from the route. Drives in front of the catch point to make plays. Times hand swipes around the face of crossing routes. Can scrape the catch loose or dislodge it with some force, and high-level technician operating with plus body control. So what I get from his strengths are not the greatest athlete in the world, but is technically skilled and is a smart football player. Good at reading the routes, good at anticipating things of that nature, which is why he dropped in the draft. He did run I think it was like a 4.54 40, so he's not the greatest athlete in the world, which is why they project him to be more of a slot corner / safety. And then these are his weaknesses. Tough player, but finesse cover guy, meaning he's not the strongest guy in the world. Might lack strength and length to grapple catch point with Pro Bowl winners. Could stand to add more play strength to his game. Had issues getting banged around at the top of routes. Needs help over the top against NFL burners. Unable to crank up a big top gear and carry long speed. Gets stuck to big receivers blocking on perimeter. Half of his pass breakups in his final season came in 2 games. And better suited for boundary than field corner. So there you have it. There are the strengths and the weaknesses on Julian Love. Nevertheless, I'm really excited to see what the kids got next week against the Chicago Bears. We need to evaluate all of our young players, and it'll be interesting to see if we go with any other changes, both on offense and defense, as the Giants continue to look towards the future to see what we have going into the 2020 season, and hopefully Julian Love is a big part of that. If he is, It looks as if he will be playing either the safety or the slot corner going forward. Like I said, we've got a ton of young pieces in that secondary, and it's something a lot of us were really excited about going into the year. Now you expect them to take their lumps, but we haven't really been encouraged with much play at all outside of Peppers in that young secondary. Baker's gotten worse week in and week out. Beal, we haven't really gotten to see yet. Same with Corey Ballantyne. He's been limited. Hopefully we get a good evaluation of these kids. We did draft 3 in this year's draft, 4 if you count Sam Beal with the supplemental pick. But we'll have to wait and see how it all plays out, as it looks as if that he will get to make his debut this week, the former Notre Dame alum, which is my favorite college team, so I'm excited to see what he's got. As always, if you liked what you watched, please subscribe, drop a comment, maybe give me a little thumbs up. Cheers.